I'm gonna watch Purple Hoodie and some other videos. Purple Hoodie is my
Don't do
favorite.
that.
Tumigil. Tumigil. Ako lang pwede magaganyan. Akin na.
If he does something, you can just follow him. Okay, guys, let's
Don't do
get.
that.
Mom,
Nagre-record siya. Wag mo
let's get back to the video.
Are you a blogger?
Guys, help.
Mom,
He's possessed.
oh my God.
Stay back, demon.
Mom, why aren't you?
Mom,
Ano na pinapanood
He's
mo?
possessed.
don't want.
He's possessed.
Tigilan mo.
Ano mami, utang ako eh.
What is he
Wala
doing?
ng pambayad.
Wala, hindi ko mahanap quality.
He's trying to give me an epileptic attack, guys. He wants to fucking kill me. He's mad that I threw him out the window.
Ako lang nakita yung
That's
quality.
Guys, help.
Nagtanong ako sa'yo, nagtanong ako.
It's like he's trying to
Ano
follow
sabi
me.
ko dyan?
Hindi ko alam na nandiyan, kala ko nandiyan sa keyboard dyan.
I'm not pressing the button.
Nama, oh.
Guys,
Akin na,
he's
akin na,
possessed.
akin na, akin na.
He's possessed, guys. He's...
Pakasino ako mapaiban.
What?
Susugal ako.
If he's maybe there's a broken circuit inside
Oh,
him.
wow.
Mom, for God!
Damn.
Mom!
Nagre-record kasi, nagre-record kasi,
Watch nonsense. Ezra, watch nonsense.
Mom, why aren't you doing it? Mom. Mom.
Watch.
Tigilan
So
mo,
anyway,
ikan ka pang
So
asal.
Michelle is kind of oh shit.
Eh, mas.
Kiss kuya.
Back down on
Mom.
me. So basically,
400.
Anong number?
so
0922.
I'm running. So
0929.
pardon me. Just funny up.
357.
Definitely cringe. Soda Show
6949.
may or may not be fucked,
Oh no.
and we're only on episode 1. So basically, I'm pretty sure you all know it's in episode 1.
Okay. I'm gonna sub.
Oh, yan.
Oh,
Picture ako,
yeah,
ano?
I'm subscribed to him. So yeah. Oh.
What do you even What do you even need to make a cake?
You need eggs, sugar. You're like 5% sugar. Let's use you.
No, I just
Da 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 da.
We are in business, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, look at the customers. They are piling up. These bitches, they're cutting in line. Alright. What would you like? Oh, hey. Wait your turn. No pushing in. Wait your turn. No pushing in. All my customers are gone. This man is scaring me. He's just kind of... he shoved us. Yeah, I noticed. I saw. Hello. What would you like? Oh wait, it's Joey the train guy. This guy's creeping me out. Oh, he wants a cheeseburger. I'll see what I can do. There you go. There's your cheeseburger. Come back with an engine. You know what? No. It's not on the menu. It's not on the menu. Okay. Yeah. Let me get back in. I can't get back in my store. What would you like? Can I have black wheels, please? I'm not smart enough for that, but I can do this. Next! Okay. What would you like, good sir? What would you like? If you waste my time, I will kill you.
Mom.
Baby girl.
What?
Ezra, family logo. Ezra, family logo.
Oh my God. What's happening?
That's not how you destroy a black hole, little kitty. That's an interesting question. Hey friends, we all know the destructive capacity of a black hole. But have you ever wondered if there is any way we could destroy it before it engulfs our solar system? Well, in today's episode, let us dig deep into this possibility and answer a world-saving question. Can you destroy a black hole?
Oh
Zoom in!
no! Zoom in.
Black hole. It
Zoom
is an
out.
extremely dense object in the universe.
Oh, they are? Okay. What's that? That's a train? That's a train. Whoa. I like the design of the train. It's kind of cute. The Living Lego SCP-387. Wait, there are two? Oh. What is retired?
Incredible LEGO train models that will blow your mind. Starting with Locomotive, Canadian Pacific National 1009, a massive 460 locomotive built by the Montreal Locomotive Works in 1912. This locomotive is fantastic because it's filled with details. The shaping is also good, as the designer used curved pieces to create a distinct boiler look. My personal favorite detail here is the use of that pen piece over there. Very clever. I also love the classic and Canadian national branding, very distinctive and very iconic.
Well, I like the train. The Lego.
You see,
This little dog had to pretend to be sick every single day because his tiny owner dreamed of becoming a great doctor. Every day she made him her patient and tried new ways to treat him. Her dad also helped her fulfill her dream by making different machines out of cardboard. The dog happily became part of the game and let the little doctor treat him. And sometimes he even became a helper doctor himself. One day this girl will definitely become a real doctor. This little dog...
Now we're gonna set sail on a long voyage. Oh no. Why is
Because it's heavy.
my ship sinking? Hey man, how come the ship you sold me sank right after leaving the harbor?
This ship isn't made by me at all. These ones here are my work. They can even handle a round-the-world voyage with no problem.
I don't believe you, unless you show me.
Watch closely. This ship's launching now, starting up and increasing speed to 20 knots. My ships can even launch missiles. Look, there's an enemy spotted. Launch the missile and a direct hit. Friends, if you like my ships, please like my video and subscribe to my channel. This is a bunch of
Oh wait, yeah.
Now we're gonna set sail on a long voyage. Oh no.
My mom doesn't like me subscribing to nonsense that I'm watching.
We are about to witness the craziest things ever discovered on Google Maps, starting with
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just wait.
to witness the craziest things ever discovered on Google Maps, starting with Brazil, North America, dinosaur.
You got a dinosaur?
You wicked.
I got crawling.
Don't let me down, North America. I live here.
Dinosaurs aren't that cool, so there's no way you can win this.
Is this real?
Where's it? That's a real dinosaur. Where's this? Texas? Where's that?
It's not Texas.
Where did you find that?
In Canada.
Canada still has dinosaurs?
All right, this is a shocking discovery, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how shocking. Where'd you go with the
I
What?
went
Oh,
with
what is
Brazil.
this?
What have I found? This is kind of cool.
Okay, it's like a tomb, a gravestone.
Oh!
That's not a bug.
Yo, what is this?
Ew! Oh my!
Okay,
Wait.
use this stranger.
Let's go. Okay, so what do I win now that I got a point?
You did not win yet. Winner literally gets this at the end of the video, and it's something that is literally found on Google Maps.
Gam-gam lang eh.
Yes, we did it. Thank you all for 1,000.
Yeah.
And here is almost 4 minutes of absolute single-engine chaos.
So I'm just gonna subscribe to him so I can get more subscribers. Because he's my favorite. I forgot to, sorry. Crash! Oh no, oh my god. What?
I did.
Already.
Come on.
The Bluetooth device is connected successfully.
Bruh. Oh no. Phew. What actually happened? Please don't cry. Why do we still spinning? Just wait, if it
Ezra, punta ka sa Teams.
You put me trust in me.
I can't hardly stand it.
Your fault. It's your fault for loving me. You put your trust in me.
What the heck is happening?
Ezra!
What the heck is happening? Oh my god, what is that word, babe?
Match free. Seven.
Huh, where did Big Boy go?
Okay. Oh my god.
Deep in tropical jungles lie floating kingdoms ruled by beautiful and deadly masters.
Why?
They're sort of the high elves of the ant kingdoms.
I know.
Talented architects that create castles and city-states.
Oh.
But they are also fierce and expansionist warriors, and their kingdoms are ensnared in a never-ending war for survival. Oikophila weaver ants. Oikophila weavers walk on long legs, have slender bodies and large eyes, which make them look pretty cute. Although their strong mandibles and the ability to shoot acid also make them pretty good at killing. But more on that later. Their colonies usually have 2 to 3 worker classes that vary dramatically in size. Majors, minors, and sometimes even tiny minim workers. Depending on location and species, they vary in colour from dark brown to emerald green. Other than their fancy looks, What makes weavers special is that they're in the kingdom building business.
Oh.
They like to build at pretty much all heights, starting in shrubs a few centimeters above the ground and up to 10 meters in the tree canopy. But they're not satisfied with ruling just one plant. Weavers will look for twigs or lianas that bridge the gap to other trees and expand to every plant they can reach. This way, colonies spread upwards and sideways through the treetops. The largest weaver ant kingdoms we know of occupy up to 1,600 square meters, around 4 basketball courts.
What?
A lot of ground to cover for tiny ants and impossibly hard to control.
I think it's fake.
Weaver ants construct dozens of nests scattered all over their territory, outposts to defend the kingdom, tubes or balls made from leaves and ghostly silk sheets. These masterpieces of high ant architecture are created by the weaver majors, the larger worker ants, which are responsible for the more dangerous jobs like fighting, foraging, and nest construction. To start a new nest, a major tries to bend different leaves in her surroundings into a tube. If one of the leaves is flexible enough, more workers will arrive to help. Chains of workers pull the leaf's edges together or reach across gaps and grab distant leaves to add them to the construction. While the bending and pulling is going on, other workers carry larvae from the closest nest to the construction site. Usually, ant larvae spin themselves a cocoon to protect themselves, but the weaver ant larvae give all of their silk to the colony as building material. So when the workers tap the larvae's heads on the leaf, they release their sticky thread like tiny, cute glue guns. This way, the workers sew the bent leaf onto itself so it won't unfold anymore. This creates a central chamber that's used as the basis for up to 300 more leaves that are wound around it. Together, they form little pockets and act as additional rooms for the new outpost. To make it even more cozy, minor workers use the larvae to weave additional floors and chambers. Nests are usually constructed as barracks on the territory's borders or as storage for brood and food supplies. This way, the ants don't need to cross vast distances to the headquarters, but have soldiers close to any potential point of conflict.
Okay.
Apart from one special nest in the middle of the network, which is reserved for the queen and her guards. Here, she produces hundreds of eggs a day, which get transferred to suitable nests with brood chambers.
That's so many.
So a colony is a network of little castles and moats connected by suspension bridges made from leaves, lianas, and twigs. An established colony easily has 500,000 individuals that need to be fed. Fortunately, weaver ants evolved to have very close and beneficial relationships with their hosts, shrubs.
What are those insects?
I think they're fake.
No, it's what the ants use their babies as.
You know.
Why?
You know, when they.
Other workers carry larvae from the closest nest to the construction site. Usually,
Look,
ant larvae
this one
spin
is
themselves
just
a
a
cocoon to
presentation.
protect themselves.
Look.
But the weaver ant larvae give all of their silk to the colony as building material.
Oh, it's
So
the
when
babies
the workers
who will...
tap the larvae's heads on the leaf, they release their sticky thread like tiny, cute glue guns. This way, the workers sew the bent leaf onto itself so it won't unfold anymore.
So it won't fold anymore.
A central chamber that's used as the basis for up to 300 more leaves that are wound around it. Together, they form little pockets and act as additional rooms for the new outpost. To make it even more cozy, minor workers use the larvae to weave additional floors and chambers. Nests are usually constructed as barracks on the territory's borders or as storage for brood and food supplies. This way, the ants don't need to cross vast distances to the headquarters, but have soldiers close to any potential point of conflict. Apart from one special nest in the middle of the network, which is reserved for the queen and her guards. Here, she produces hundreds of eggs a day, which get transferred to suitable nests with brood chambers. So a colony is a network of little castles and moats connected by suspension bridges made from leaves, lianas, and twigs.
Okay.
An established colony easily has 500,000 individuals that need to be fed.
Oh.
Fortunately, weaver ants evolved to have very close and beneficial relationships with their hosts, shrubs, and trees.
Oh.
The tree gives the ants a home and access to sweet sap to drink. But maybe even more importantly, it allows them to cultivate cattle, like aphids or caterpillars, that produce honeydew for them. This would usually hurt a tree, but these insects belong to a small group of VIPs. Only a few selected neighbors and the ants' cattle are allowed on the fruit tree. Many other insects and even larger herbivores are scared off, or even killed and eaten. So in most cases, the tree only has to tolerate acceptable levels of damage while being protected from more dangerous pests. The weaver ant kingdom could be an ant paradise if there wasn't competition. Mostly from other kingdoms. Just like medieval humans, every queen seeks to conquer others and make their land their own. Controlling fertile land is the key to survive in the jungle. And if a kingdom loses too much of it, it shrinks and is overrun or starves to death. So expanding and defending their borders is critical to keep the colony alive. When a kingdom invades another, it first gathers an army of a few thousand mages who make their way towards the opposing colony. The goal is to steal a bit of territory and take it over. Defending weaver patrols quickly spot the invaders and immediately release an alarm pheromone. Some rush to the front to defend, while others rush to the closest outposts for help, marking their route with pheromones. Whenever they meet other sisters, they jerk their bodies as if in a fight to signal them to follow the pheromone trail to the front line. At the sight of battle, mages from both parties raise their bodies, circle each other with mandibles wide open, and try to seize their opponents. If an ant gets a hold of her opponent, the victim is pulled into a group of allied mages and pinned down. The ants then rip the victim apart, clipping off antennae and legs and slicing open their abdomens. To slow down the advance of the attackers, the defending mages squirt formic acid over the battlefield to chemically burn their targets. This is soon answered in the same way by the attackers. In the chaotic battle, both parties lose countless fighters on the increasingly acidic battlefield. After a few minutes, the backup from the outposts arrive, and the time window for a successful attack slowly closes. This is when the battle turns. The defenders slowly push back the attack party. In the end, the attackers can't keep up and have to retreat. For both parties, it was a costly battle. Thousands of corpses lie piled up on the ground under the battlefield, and many ants are severely injured. The defending colony's nests and brood are safe though. The attackers' attempt to steal new, valuable territory has failed. For today. They'll try again soon. But the kingdom will be ready. For the high ants of the floating kingdoms, war is nothing special, it's just a fact of life. Because as we know, empires never ever have enough. And the weaver ants are ready to fight.
What's this?
Some groups just don't get along. Every day, billions of soldiers fight a merciless war on thousands of fronts, and it's been going on for over 100 million years. The World War of the Ants.
That's fake, I think. I don't know if it's fake. Oh.
Ants are ancient beings that arose around 160 million years ago and took over a wide variety of ecological niches so successfully that they became one of the dominant animals on planet Earth. Today, they count more than 16,000 different species with over 10,000 trillion individuals. Collectively, ants alone make up 20% of the entire animal biomass on land.
Oh.
Similar to humans, their recipe for success is collaboration. While a single ant is pretty useless, together they are able to achieve stunning feats. They construct complex colonies, care for livestock, pursue agriculture, or have complex symbiotic relationships. And of course, ants wage war. Even among the same species, a constant state of conflict is pretty common. Skirmishes, raids, and full-on invasions are happening every day, causing millions of casualties. Let's look at some of the most interesting ones in a series of videos. In this one, the army ant, a swarm made for war.
What are
The
the
army
group
ant group
of
consists of about 200
ants?
different
Swarm?
species.
Also
Army
like
ants
this?
do not build
Oh, yeah.
nests. They live a sort of nomadic lifestyle with groups of millions of individuals.
Whoa!
On a hunt, some species form large columns up to 100 meters long, killing and immediately dismembering every insect or small vertebrate they encounter.
Yeah,
The
I
biggest
think
hunting
so.
parties
The
can kill
territory.
up to 500,000 animals per day.
Oh.
Some army ants specialize in hunting and consuming other social insects like termites, wasps, and especially other ants.
What's that loud?
Fierce and may seem invulnerable, but if a swarm makes its way to their colonies, they don't even stand a chance. The much bigger and stronger wasps might kill a few of them, but they are quickly overwhelmed. Even if their queen survives an attack, the army ants steal the colony's larvae and quickly devour them. There is no recovery from that. When army ants discover another ant colony, they immediately attack. Now you might think this would be a more even battle, but it's not. Because army ants act as a social unit, they are especially dangerous and effective. Most army ants are not particularly...
In January 2021, at the height of AumSum's popularity, the channel released a playful video titled What If AumSum Disappeared? It imagined a world without AumSum, a tongue-in-cheek scenario where children would forget how to laugh, education would crumble, and even YouTube itself
How about
might lose
Dr.
millions of
Binox?
viewers without AumSum's daily presence. Fast forward to today, and the promise feels sadly true. AumSum hasn't vanished from YouTube, but many believe the channel's soul has disappeared in spirit. As this user says, AumSum was my childhood. Now it's AI. How on earth did we go from videos as good as this?
What if oceans were transparent? No problemo. I will color them using my AumSum blue paint. Oh, AumSum. Firstly, submarines would lose one of their biggest advantages. Anybody will be able to spot them.
To videos as soulless as this.
AumSum jumps
Oh my god, what the?
Would you trust your life in the 4 opposable thumbs of the baboon?
Ma, I found a video about animals with a higher IQ than me or all of us.
If you were aboard a train bound to Cape, would you trust your life in the 4 opposable thumbs of a baboon? Well, if you were aboard a train bound to Cape Town in the 1880s, there's a good chance that that was exactly what you were doing. Meet Jack the Signal Man. A baboon
Ma, look at this. Look, Mama.
Would you trust your life in the 4 opposable thumbs of a baboon?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
look.
if you were aboard a train bound to Cape Town in
Look.
the 1880s, there's a good chance that that was exactly what you were doing. Meet Jack the Signal Man. A baboon responsible for preventing trains from crashing into each other. But who gave him this important job in the first place? Well, it all started with a man named James Jumper Wide. He was a signalman who was famous for jumping between rail cars until he fell and lost both of his legs. Although he built himself some pegs for legs and a makeshift wheelchair, Jumper thought his career as a signalman was over. Until he stumbled across Jack the Baboon, who had been trained to push an ox cart. After much begging and pleading with the owner, he bought Jack the Baboon and took him home. Jack turned out to be an alcoholic, and refused to do anything unless he was given a few drops of booze. And so, with enough encouragement, Jumper was able to train him to push his wheelchair to work. Don't drink and drive, kids. Jack would watch Jumper hard at work at the levers every single day. Approaching trains would blow a certain number of whistles, which corresponded to the track they wanted to be transferred to. And Jumper would hobble around with great difficulty and set the right levers for the train. And just by observing, Jack was able to learn and memorize these sequences consequences. It didn't take long till Jumper let him try flipping the levers himself, and soon Jumper had given the monkey full control. But it didn't take long for railway authorities to receive a complaint from a passenger, and after confirming the ridiculousness for themselves, they fired the pair on the spot. Jumper pleaded with authorities to let Jack prove his abilities, and after harassing them for days, they eventually agreed to give him a chance. And Jack's performance left them speechless. In fact, Jack had performed so well that they made him an official employee of the railway, with a salary of 20 cents a day and a half a bottle of beer weekly. I don't know what Jack needed the money for, but he definitely made good use of that alcohol. And after being employed for 9 years in the railway, Jack never made a single mistake, performing his job even better than a human could. He eventually died of tuberculosis in 1890, and his skull resides in Albany Museum to this day.
Oh, but memorizing a bunch of lever positions is easy.
Well, why don't we play a memory game then? I'm gonna show you 5 random numbers between 1 and 9, and I'll hide them after a short amount of time, and you need to recall their positions in ascending order. We'll start easy. Ready, set, go. Okay, so get your answers ready now. If it was 2, 3, 6, 8, and 9, then good job. I think this shouldn't they be way better with numbers than a chimp? With numbers than Now, let's ramp up the difficulty. Ready, set, go. Yeah, I'm gonna guess none of you got that one, but guess what? Ayumu the chimpanzee did. Ayumu is a part of the iResearch project in...
Ma, look at this!
Then good job.
Just look.
I think most of you got that. Now, let's ramp up the difficulty. Ready, set, go. Yeah, I'm gonna guess none of you got that one. But guess what? Ayumu the chimpanzee did. Ayumu is a part of the iResearch project in Kyoto University, and he's really good at this memory test. I mean, look at that speed. Look at that technique.
Yeah, really chimps. Monkeys are high in IQ.
The project was actually started to research Ayumu's mom, Chimpanzee I, the first chimp in the world able to represent numbers with Arabic numerals, and she even liked to paint for fun. So naturally, big brain mom, but big brain son. Ayumu answered the memory test correctly with an accuracy of 79% on average, maintaining his accuracy even with shorter test times. This was compared to human subjects on the same test, and, well, this is what their graph looked like. These results made it seem like young chimpanzees have a much better working memory than humans, but some scientists disagreed with this, saying,
"They will have more practice time."
So, in another experiment, the humans were given more time to practice the task first, and after 2,500 trials, they were just able to match Ayumu's accuracy levels. I expected a bit more out of the humans, to be honest. Shouldn't they be way better with numbers than a chimpanzee? Well, speaking of numbers, Clever Hans was a horse from Berlin in the 1900s, who seemingly had the ability to do quick math. His owner would ask him a question, and Clever Hans would answer by tapping his hoof the correct number of times. Seems a bit sus, and the German Board of Education thought so too, because they conducted an official scientific investigation into Hans's abilities. A man named Oskar Funks designed the experiment, and hypothesized that Hans's owner was sneakily sending him signals. So he made a random stranger ask the questions instead. But Hans was still able to nail the answers. Perplexed, Funks then used blinders on Hans so he couldn't see the questioner, and his ability to answer the questions plummeted. In some cases, he would even keep tapping his hoof on the ground indefinitely. But why couldn't he answer correctly when he couldn't see the questioner? Funks had an idea. He asked Hans a question that he himself didn't know the answer to, and amazingly, Hans proceeded to do this again. The conclusion Funks came to was that Hans was able to pick up on subtle, involuntary gestures from the questioner when his answer reached the right number. He was so good at detecting these minute postural changes that the questioners themselves were totally unaware that they were doing them. So Hans may not have been a big brain maths genius, but he was a genius at reading people's body language. Something humans themselves are notoriously bad at. Could you imagine Hans as a detective, though? I don't know. I swear. This whole occurrence coined the term the clever Hans effect, where an animal predicts what someone wants them to do without actually understanding their own actions. For this reason, it's important to conduct animal experiments in a double-blind fashion, where nobody knows what the expected results are. Oh, hey Alex. In 1977, animal psychologist Dr. Irene Pepperberg bought an African grey parrot from a pet store. She named him Alex, short for Avian Learning Experiment. And over the next 30 years, she proceeded to make him the smartest animal in the world.
What's the smartest?
Alex had a spoken vocabulary of over 100 words, but instead of just imitating words, he seemed to have an understanding of what they actually meant. He could label objects correctly based on their shape, size, color, or material, and even created his own words, like when he was shown an apple for the first time and called it a banary, combining two words he had already learned. Banana and cherry. Ooh, look at the smart bird brain. Alex also showed genuine anger or surprise when the researchers tried to trick him during tests. If Alex asked for a banana and they gave him a nut instead, he would throw it back. Foolish human. He also got frustrated with his fellow research buddies when they answered wrong. How many blocks are there? 4? The freakiest part was when he looked in the mirror one day and asked, "What color?" This was the first instance in history of an animal subject asking a question, that too, an existential one.
Why are we still here? Just to suffer.
There's plenty of past examples of animals communicating with humans using sign language and whatnot, but not a single one has asked a question. It's always been, give food, give drink, leave your food. The cutest thing was that every night before Dr. Pepperberg locked the lab up, Alex would say, "You be good, I love you, see you tomorrow." And those would be his last words before unexpectedly passing away one night at the age of 31. So far, all of these smart animals have been in some form of captivity, but what about a big brain animal in the wild? In the late 1800s, ships had great difficulty navigating a treacherous stretch of water called Cook Strait. It was notorious for wrecking ships, and sailors were terrified of passing through. One day, as a ship named the Brindle approached, the crew saw a Risso's dolphin bobbing happily in front of them. And of course, as humans always do, they proceeded to try and kill him. Thankfully, the captain's wife managed to talk them out of it, but to their surprise, despite the threats to his life, the derpy dolphin began to guide the ship safely through the dangerous waters. And from that day onwards, he did the same for every ship passing through. He was given the name Polaris Jack. When he navigated, not a single shipwreck occurred. Sailors would even refuse to enter the strait unless Polaris Jack had appeared to guide them. This continued until 1904, when someone aboard the SS Penguin fired their rifle at the dolphin. Polaris Jack was injured, and he disappeared. The people were devastated, and a law was passed under the Sea Fisheries Act, protecting him from any other attacks on his life. I wouldn't be surprised if he decided to never help out a human again, but on one fateful day, Polaris Jack reappeared. Hey guys. He was a kind-hearted, forgiving creature, ready to help out humans in need again. Except for the SS Penguin, which ended up shipwrecked in the same waters in 1905. And after being a companion to sailors for over 24 years, Polaris Jack was last seen in April of 1912.
Oh no.
There were various speculations about his disappearance, but I'd like to think that he found a nice place to retire in after a long, fulfilling life. He seemed like a pretty cool dude and is fondly remembered as a hero to many New Zealanders. It's really amazing.
My favorite are dolphins. The craziest walks in the world. Come on, look.
I was in the museum the other day looking at all these cool rock formations on display. You know, there were spiky rocks and goopy rocks, but when I made it all the way to the bottom,
Your eyes
I
is too
saw it
close.
didn't make any sense. It was a rock,
but it was like someone had created perfectly machined metallic cubes and fused them into it.
No.
Now, this was strange because this was supposed to be a natural formations display, and these cubes were obviously human-made. Am I the only one who thinks that? Like, am I dumb? Well, but turns out it wasn't fake. So naturally, my next question was, what sorcery is this? Impossibly perfect shaped rocks. The cubes are called pyrite, and despite looking like a metal, it's actually a crystal. And in a specific mine in Spain, you can literally pull these perfect shiny cubes right out of the cave wall.
Yeah.
Okay, but how did these form in the first place? Well, if you zoom in, you'll see that pyrite is made of the elements iron and sulfur. Initially, they float around as ions in hot water underground, and as the fluid cools, opposite charges attract and they begin to crystallize. When forming crystals, atoms like to arrange themselves in a lattice, which is a repeating arrangement that keeps the crystal stable. The simplest repeating pattern in a lattice is called the unit cell, and it just so happens that the unit cell for pyrite is a perfect cube. But it looks really complicated like this, so let's just stuff it all into a box and think of it as a cube-shaped Lego brick. In the right environmental conditions, these Lego bricks build up evenly, layer by layer, resulting in a fake-looking cube. And sometimes you can even get multiple pyrite cubes growing in each other, leading to all sorts of cool designs. But a cubic unit cell doesn't necessarily mean you'll get a cubic crystal, like in the case of garnet, where different environmental conditions make it form perfect dodecahedrons instead, and cubic crystals aren't even rare in nature. Like if you look really closely, table salt is cubic. Anyways, I'm convinced that you're real now. Wait a minute. If this crazy looking rock was right under my nose the whole time, what else are you hiding under there? Musical rocks. In some special areas of the world, there are fields of rocks that can sing. They're called ringing rocks, and when you strike them with a hammer, they ring out like a bell. Using these, ancient civilizations would make an instrument called a lithophone, which is basically a rock xylophone. But there's some debate about why these rocks actually ring. One informal study from the 1960s cut up both a ringing rock and a normie rock. And after measuring the initial dimensions, they waited a bit and then measured them again. The normie rock, well, stayed normie. There was no change in size, but the ringing rock actually expanded a little, indicating that there were some internal stresses that were released after the rock was cut. And the theory is that these internal stresses are what causes the rocks to ring. It's also been found that rocks with higher internal stresses ring at higher frequencies. So maybe if you want a higher note, you need to stress out the rock more. But unfortunately, people kinda suck, and most of the smaller ringing rocks from these rare areas have been stolen. And it gets even worse. There's only boulder-sized ringing rocks left, but this hasn't stopped people from taking chunks of them home as souvenirs. The annoying part is, breaking these rocks releases the stresses inside them, meaning they lose their musical ability permanently. You gotta take care of the earth, people. Like, treat it nicely. What? Glowing rocks. Under visible light, some rocks appear normal. But under ultraviolet light, they glow. How cool is that? Glowing rocks have special atoms in them called activators, and when UV light shines on one, the energy excites an electron, causing it to jump to a higher energy level temporarily. But after a fraction of a second, the electron loses its energy and falls back down to its original energy level. As it does, it releases the extra energy as a photon of visible light. And because there's millions and billions of these activator atoms all releasing photons at the exact same time, your eyeball perceives this as a glowing rock. This property is called fluorescence, and I have a really hard time finding the last half of that word. The color of the glow depends on the chemical element of the activator atom. For example, manganese activators cause red glows like in calcite, uranium activators cause green glows like in autunite, and molybdenum activators cause blue glows like in scheelite. But fluorescent rocks lose their glow when the UV light is turned off. But there are some rocks that keep glowing without it. The property is called phosphorescence, and it works in a similar way to fluorescence, but instead of the excited electron falling back down quickly, it gets stuck at the higher level. This is due to something called a forbidden transition, which sounds quite ominous, but basically due to quantum rules, the electron holds on to that extra energy longer and releases it slowly over time, so you get a sustained continual glow until the electron eventually drops down to its original energy level. This is what's used in glow-in-the-dark stickers, and it also explains why they eventually died over time. But did you know that you could recharge them if you use a blacklight torch? And it doesn't stop here. Glowing rocks speed round. Thermoluminescence causes rocks to glow when you heat them up. Although most objects will eventually glow if you heat them up enough. Triboluminescence causes rocks to produce light when they're scratched or crushed, like sugar cubes, which produce a small flash of blue light when you smash them. Electroluminescence causes rocks to glow when you electrocute them. And radioluminescence causes rocks to glow when they're bombarded by radioactive decay. So rocks can form perfect cool shapes, they can sing, they can glow. What else can they do? Magnetic rocks. I like to put myself in the shoes of early humans coming across crazy phenomena in the world. Like, what would it be like to see lightning for the first time? Or discover fire? Or find out that these mystical rocks want to do this? Witchcraft. There are stories of ancient people thinking that magnetic rocks had some sort of life force or soul, which allowed them to attract other objects. We now know it's a type of iron ore called magnetite. Usually it's just attracted to other magnets and doesn't do any of the attracting by itself. In very rare cases though, the ore is permanently magnetized and doing the attracting. Okay, so how did this random rock become a magnet naturally? Well, for a magnet to be magnetized, it needs to be exposed to a strong magnetic field. And the Earth has a magnetic field, but it's way too weak to create a strong magnet. So instead, the theory is when magnetite is just chilling, minding its own business, it gets struck by lightning. The strong magnetic fields of the lightning strike permanently magnetize the iron ore, creating something called a lodestone. This also explains why lodestones are quite rare and only occur near the surface. This lightning theory was also supported by a NASA dude's experiments, where he shucked the magnetite in a lab and artificially created a lodestone. At this point, I'm like, what can't rocks do? Like, next you're gonna tell me that some rocks are alive or something. Why have you gone silent? Living rocks. Maybe. Around a small town in Romania called Castesti are a bunch of lumpy-looking rocks called trovins. They might look innocent and unassuming, but if you've lived in this town for long enough, you know that there's something fishy about them. They come in all different shapes and sizes. Some are tiny, some weigh several tons, and some are super-duper lumpy. In Romanian, the word trovin translates to growing stone, and they've been recorded to increase in size, especially after it rains. And their strange behavior has become a part of local myths, with them being thought of as dragon eggs. But when scientists cut one sample open, they didn't discover a dragon, but actually a bunch of ring layers instead, sort of like the growth rings of a tree. The theory is that because trovins are porous, meaning they have a lot of tiny holes inside them, they're able to absorb minerals from the rain. Over time, these minerals build up inside, creating outward pressure, forcing the rock to expand. This process is very, very slow, and the rocks are estimated to grow a whopping 4 centimeters every 1,000 years. So basically, every time it rains, it's sort of like the trovin's feeding time. But it doesn't end there. Sometimes the trovins grow a bulb, and with enough time, it can break off from the parent rock, creating a mini baby trovin. And then the baby trovin can grow too. So if you want a pet rock, a trovin is your best pick. Wait, actually no, leave them in Romania. Back, no touching! I didn't really know much about rocks before this, but I had a lot of fun learning about these little goobers. If you did too, maybe like and subscribe. Also, look at these goobers!
Okay, bye guys.